My beloved child, pause right now and listen with your spirit, not just your ears. This message did not find you by accident. Out of billions of souls on this earth, you were chosen to see this warning. Archangel Michael is stepping forward at this very moment with urgency in his voice, because a major shift is already moving toward your life tonight. Not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. And if this moment is ignored, the delay will cost you far more than your imagination can currently grasp. Hear this clearly. What feels like just another video is actually a divine interruption. Heaven is interrupting your routine, your scrolling, your distractions, because something irreversible is aligning behind the scenes. Archangel Michael is not whispering today. He is alerting you. This is a warning wrapped in mercy. You have been standing at the edge of change for longer than you realize. You sensed it in restless nights. You felt it when familiar paths suddenly felt uncomfortable. That was not confusion. That was preparation. Archangel Michael says the old cycle has reached its final breath, and the new one is pressing to enter. But here is the truth many never hear. Shifts demand response. Heaven moves, but humans must open. Right now, unseen doors are beginning to unlock. At the same time, unseen doors are beginning to close forever. This is why delay is dangerous. This is why hesitation feels heavy. Archangel Michael says procrastination is no longer neutral. It has become costly. What you postpone now, you may not get another chance to recover. My dear one, understand this. The warning is not about fear. It is about timing. Divine timing is precise, and tonight marks a turning point. Some will sense peace after this message. Others will feel conviction. Both reactions are signs that the message is for you. Archangel Michael is showing me a scale. On one side is obedience, on the other is comfort. The scale is tipping. You cannot carry both into what is coming. Something you have been holding on to emotionally, mentally, or spiritually is becoming too heavy for the next season. And if you try to drag it forward, it will slow you down just enough to miss what God already scheduled. This is why the warning feels intense. This is why the energy around you feels different. Heaven is accelerating events. What once took months will now take days. What once took days will now take hours. Tonight is not symbolic, it is decisive. Archangel Michael says, pay attention to what is revealed after sunset. Conversations will expose truth. Silence will expose motives. Even your own thoughts will begin to speak louder than usual. Do not dismiss what is uncovered. Exposure is not punishment. It is protection. You may be wondering, why me? Because you are trusted. Chosen souls are warned before shifts, not after consequences. Many people will wake up tomorrow confused. You are being invited to wake up prepared. Hear this next part carefully. There is a delay you have been normalizing, a decision you keep pushing aside, a step you keep postponing, a truth you keep avoiding. Archangel Michael says that delay has reached its final grace window. If you move now, momentum will meet you. If you wait, resistance will replace ease. This does not mean everything will suddenly be easy. It means it will finally be aligned. Misalignment is what has been draining you. Alignment is what will restore you. My beloved child, the reason this warning feels urgent is because tonight marks a spiritual handoff. Old assignments are expiring. New instructions are being released. But instructions require attention. Heaven does not shout endlessly. It speaks clearly, once. Archangel Michael is standing guard over your destiny, sword drawn, not to frighten you, but to defend the path that is opening. Yet even angels cannot walk the path for you. The step must be yours. Ask yourself this: what would change if I stopped delaying what I already know I must do? That question alone is a key. Do not underestimate small actions taken tonight. A message sent, a boundary drawn, a prayer spoken honestly, a decision made quietly. These are the moves that trigger major shifts. You were chosen to hear this because your obedience tonight protects your tomorrow. This message will not repeat itself in the same way again. That is why you felt pulled to open it. That is why your spirit leaned in. If this is resonating deeper than logic, that is confirmation. My precious one, take a slow breath and allow this truth to settle in your spirit. What Archangel Michael revealed earlier was not the full picture. It was the opening of the curtain. And now the light is increasing. The reason this warning feels so personal is because the shift coming tonight is not generic. It is tailored to your path, your calling, your unfinished story. Archangel Michael says many delays in your life were not caused by lack of effort, but by divine restraint. Heaven held certain things back because your inner alignment was still forming. But tonight, that restraint is lifting. And when restraint lifts, movement begins rapidly. This is why you may suddenly feel overwhelmed, emotional, or unusually alert. Your spirit senses acceleration. There is something important you must understand. A major shift does not always arrive with loud miracles. Sometimes it comes as clarity. Sometimes it comes as discomfort. Sometimes it comes as a sudden realization that you can no longer tolerate what you once accepted. That is not weakness. That is awakening. Archangel Michael is showing a crossroads. One path looks familiar, safe, predictable. The other feels uncertain but lighter. He says the familiar path is where delay lives. The lighter path is where obedience lives. And obedience, even when it feels risky, activates protection you cannot see yet. Tonight, you may notice people reacting differently to you. Some will support you more than before. Others may resist you without explanation. Do not take this personally. Alignment rearranges relationships. When you shift, the environment must adjust. Archangel Michael says do not chase what pulls away. Let it go with grace. What is meant to stay will strengthen. What is meant to leave will reveal itself quickly. There is also warning here. Do not talk yourself out of what you already know. Overthinking is the enemy of timing. The mind will demand proof before movement, but faith moves first and understanding follows. Delay feels logical, but logic without faith becomes a trap. Archangel Michael says tonight carries a window, not a threat, not a curse, but an opportunity window. Windows open and close quietly. They do not announce themselves again. That is why distraction is dangerous right now. Even harmless distractions can cost alignment. This is why you were guided here. This message is acting like a spiritual alarm clock. Not to scare you awake, but to keep you from oversleeping your moment. Beloved, there is a version of you on the other side of this shift who is calmer, clearer, and stronger. But that version requires a choice from the current you. Heaven will not force it. Angels will not drag you. They will guide, warn, and protect, but your will must agree. You might feel a strong urge to clean, organize, or release something tonight. Follow that nudge. Physical actions often mirror spiritual preparation. Clearing space is a sign you are making room. Archangel Michael also says pay attention to your words tonight. What you speak casually could become a declaration. Avoid speaking doubt, fear, or limitation. Even jokes carry power right now. Speak intentionally. Speak life. Now hear this carefully. If this message is touching your spirit, do not keep it to yourself. There are others connected to you who are also standing at the edge of change, and your engagement helps this warning reach them. Take a moment to like this video so the message travels further. Share it with someone you feel led to. Leave a comment, even a simple word, as a sign of agreement. When you subscribe to this channel and support its growth, you are helping spread divine warnings and guidance to those who desperately need it. And if this message is resonating deeply, stay connected. This channel is becoming a place of alignment, clarity, and spiritual preparation. Join this community, turn on notifications, and allow these messages to walk with you through the changes ahead. Archangel Michael says there is strength in unity. When chosen ones gather, clarity multiplies. Do not rush through what comes next. Some revelations unfold gradually. Some confirmations come through dreams. Some through unexpected conversations. Stay observant. Stay prayerful. Stay humble. Before you move on, let this sink in. Delay is not always about time. Sometimes it is about courage. Courage to let go. Courage to say yes. Courage to trust that God sees what you cannot yet see. And trust me, what unfolds next will connect pieces you never thought were related. Hold on, because this is where everything begins to make sense. My beloved soul, what Archangel Michael reveals now goes deeper than warning. It touches the root of why this shift has been delayed until this exact moment. You may have thought the waiting season was punishment, but heaven says it was protection. There were layers within you that needed strengthening before the weight of what is coming could rest on your shoulders without breaking you. Archangel Michael is showing me a refining fire, not meant to destroy, but to purify intention. Many of your prayers were answered in stages, not because God was slow, but because your destiny is sensitive. Too much, too fast, with the wrong mindset, would have distorted the blessing. That is why timing mattered. That is why tonight matters. You are not stepping into something small. The shift coming is structural. It rearranges priorities, relationships, self-perception, and direction. This is not just a new chapter. It is a new framework. Old thinking patterns cannot survive where you are going. This is why certain habits started feeling uncomfortable. This is why tolerance for nonsense decreased. Growth always feels like loss before it feels like gain. Archangel Michael says there is also exposure tied to this shift. Not exposure to harm you, but exposure to free you. Illusions cannot cross into the next season. Masks must fall, including the ones you wear to survive. Authenticity is required now. God is not asking you to be perfect. He is asking you to be honest. Tonight, there is a quiet invitation happening in the spiritual realm. Heaven is asking, will you trust me even when you cannot control the outcome? That question is the gate. Fear says wait. Faith says move. And movement, even a small one, activates angelic assistance. You may notice memory surfacing unexpectedly. Past conversations, old disappointments, former versions of yourself. Do not resist this. Archangel Michael says review is part of release. You cannot carry what you refuse to acknowledge. Closure is being offered, but you must accept it consciously. There is also something you must stop doing after tonight. Stop shrinking your expectations to avoid disappointment. That survival mechanism protected you once, but now it limits you. God is not offended by your hope. Heaven responds to it. Archangel Michael says watch your reactions in the next 24 hours. What irritates you is showing you what no longer aligns. What excites you is pointing toward your next assignment. Pay attention. The shift speaks through emotion before it manifests through events. Beloved, do not compare your timeline to anyone else's. Comparison dilutes obedience. Your path is calibrated uniquely. Some arrive early and lack depth. Others arrive later and carry wisdom. You carry wisdom. This message is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to steady you. Even if your hands are shaking, keep them open. Angels work best with open hands, not clenched fists. Archangel Michael is reminding you that obedience does not require full clarity. It requires trust. You will not see 10 steps ahead. You only need to see the next one. And now hear this clearly. If this message is stirring your spirit, this is not the time to stay silent. There is power in agreement. There is power in declaring alignment. Type "I receive the shift" in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Lesson code 945 has just been released. Now listen carefully, because this next moment matters. If this message has reached you, it is because God is using this channel as a vessel to warn, prepare, and awaken chosen souls before critical turning points. Every word you hear carries weight, prayer, and responsibility. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or PayPal donation, you are not supporting a channel. You are sowing into souls who might miss their moment without this warning. I hear the Spirit saying, as you release seed, I release light. Your giving becomes oil that keeps this fire burning, reaching hearts across nations. Scripture declares that when seed is sown into good ground, harvest follows in ways the giver cannot predict. This is not a transaction. It is a prophetic response. This message spoke of delay costing too much. Supporting this mission is one way you step out of delay and into obedience. Do not hesitate when heaven nudges you. Those who move with God never lack. I speak blessing over every giver. May clarity increase, resistance break, and doors open suddenly in your life. Obey this moment. The PayPal link is waiting in the description. Act now, and let heaven record your obedience. My dear one, as this message continues to unfold, Archangel Michael draws your attention to something subtle yet powerful that is happening within you right now. You may not be able to name it clearly, but there is an internal rearranging taking place. Thoughts you once entertained easily are now being questioned. Desires you once chased without hesitation are being weighed more carefully. This is not confusion. This is discernment being sharpened. Archangel Michael says the shift coming tonight is not only about what enters your life, but also about what permanently exits. Some things will not return after this point, and that is a mercy. You have outgrown certain cycles, even if part of you still feels emotionally attached to them. Growth often lags behind the heart before it reaches the mind. There is a spiritual maturity being activated now. This maturity does not make you colder, it makes you clearer. You are learning the difference between patience and self-abandonment, between loyalty and self-betrayal. Heaven is teaching you how to stay kind without staying stuck. Archangel Michael is also revealing that much of your exhaustion came from carrying responsibility that was never yours to hold. You tried to fix, save, or stabilize situations God never assigned to you. Tonight, that burden begins to lift. Not because the situations suddenly resolve, but because you finally release control. Release is an act of faith. It says, God, I trust you to handle what I cannot. And trust always triggers movement in the spiritual realm. You may notice after this shift that your tolerance for emotional chaos decreases. You will crave peace more than excitement, truth more than approval, alignment more than attention. This is not isolation. This is elevation. When God raises your perspective, certain noise naturally fades. Archangel Michael says, do not confuse loneliness with separation. Separation is intentional. It is God creating space for what fits your next level. Loneliness passes. Alignment remains. There is also healing happening in places you stopped praying about because you assumed nothing would change. Haven't heard those prayers? They were not ignored. They were preserved. Some answers require the right version of you to receive them safely. And version is emerging now. Pay attention to your intuition in the coming hours. You will sense when to speak and when to remain silent. Silence will become a form of wisdom for you. You will realize that not every truth needs an audience to be powerful. Archangel Michael says you are entering a season where reaction will cost you more than patience. Choose response over reaction. Pause before you reply. Pray before you decide. The pace of heaven is calm, even when the outcome is dramatic. There is also a warning here, spoken gently. Do not romanticize the past after this point. Nostalgia can disguise stagnation. What we're familiar with not always healthy. God is not removing joy. He is replacing it with something deeper. Tonight, you may experience an emotional release without fully understanding why. Tears may come unexpectedly. Relief may arrive quietly. Let it happen. Emotional release clears spiritual pathways. You are not falling behind. You are being repositioned. Archangel Michael is showing me a chessboard. Every move you make from now on will matter more because you are closer to the center of the board. Strategy becomes important when influence increases. Be mindful. Be intentional. Be prayerful. Some people may not recognize you after this shift. Not because you changed your values, but because you finally honor them. You will stop explaining yourself to those who never listened. You will stop proving your worth to those who benefited from your doubt. This is not arrogance. This is self-respect rooted in God. There is also restoration connected to this moment. Something that was taken prematurely, delayed unfairly, or denied unjustly is coming back in a new form. Not identical to what you lost, better suited to who you are now. Trust the upgrade. Archangel Michael says timing has caught up with your obedience. That is a powerful alignment. When obedience and timing meet, acceleration follows. Do not rush the process. Sudden does not mean careless. Move deliberately. Speak thoughtfully. Choose wisely. You are no longer in survival mode. You are stepping into stewardship. Tonight marks the end of internal war. The constant second-guessing. The inner tug-of-war between faith and fear. Peace will not mean everything is resolved. It will mean you are no longer fighting yourself. Let that peace settle. Let it anchor you. What comes next will require courage, but not confusion. Strength, but not striving. Trust, but not blindness. Stay open. Stay grounded. Stay listening. Because the next unfolding will reveal why this warning came exactly when it did. My beloved one, Archangel Michael now draws your attention to what happens after the initial calm settles. Many believe the shift ends when peace arrives, but in truth, peace is only the foundation. What follows is direction. When inner noise quiets, guidance becomes clearer. This is the stage you are entering now. You may notice that your decisions begin to feel simpler. Not because choices disappear, but because confusion loses its grip. Archangel Michael says clarity is replacing complexity. You will start recognizing what aligns and what drains you without needing long explanations. Discernment will feel instinctive rather than forced. There is also a strengthening of your spiritual boundaries taking place. Where you once absorbed the emotions, opinions, and expectations of others, you will now sense a healthy distance. This does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop caring. Compassion without self-sacrifice is the balance heaven is teaching you. Archangel Michael is showing that some doors will now close on their own. You will not have to argue, convince, or chase. Opportunities, relationships, and patterns that are no longer assigned to you will simply lose momentum. Do not panic when this happens. What drifts away was never meant to be dragged into your future. At the same time, new invitations will appear quietly. Not flashy, not loud, but steady. These opportunities will feel peaceful even if they stretch you. That peace is confirmation. Chaos is no longer your confirmation signal. Calm alignment is. You are also stepping into a season where your words carry more weight. People will listen differently. Some will seek your perspective unexpectedly. Others may feel exposed simply by your presence. This is not because you are judging them. It is because truth recognizes truth. Light does not need to accuse darkness. It reveals it naturally. Archangel Michael cautions you here. Use your influence gently. Speak with wisdom. Silence can sometimes be more powerful than correction. Not every battle needs your voice. Choose where your energy goes. Stewardship of energy is part of maturity. You may feel a renewed desire to protect your time. That is not selfishness. Time is sacred currency. What you give it grows. Be selective. Be intentional. God is aligning your schedule with your assignment. There is also healing happening around disappointment. Some hopes you buried because they hurt too much to revisit are being touched again. Not all will return in the same form, but the pain attached to them will lose its power. Archangel Michael says healed hope is stronger than untouched hope. It has depth. Pay attention to what you feel drawn to learn, study, or understand during this phase. Curiosity is being reactivated. That curiosity is pointing you toward preparation. You are being equipped, even if you do not yet see the final picture. You may also find yourself less reactive to criticism. Words that once cut deeply will now pass through without lodging inside you. This is not numbness. This is confidence rooted in identity. When you know who you are, opinions lose authority. Archangel Michael reminds you that not everyone will celebrate your growth. Some benefited from your uncertainty. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Bless them silently and keep moving. There will be moments when you question whether you are doing enough. In those moments, remember this: obedience is not measured by busyness. It is measured by alignment. One aligned step carries more power than 10 frantic ones. You are no longer meant to rush. Rushing belonged to survival. Intentional movement belongs to purpose. This phase also invites rest without guilt. Rest is not retreat. It is refueling. Even angels pause before new assignments. Allow yourself to breathe between movements. God is not impressed by exhaustion. Archangel Michael is also revealing that something you thought was delayed is actually syncing up perfectly now. The timing you once resented is about to make sense. When it does, you will be grateful things did not happen earlier. Protection often disguises itself as denial. Stay attentive to subtle confirmations. Repeated words. Recurring themes. Gentle nudges. Heaven speaks softly to those who are listening closely. You are stepping into steadiness. Emotional highs and lows will balance. Faith will feel less like striving and more like knowing. Trust will feel natural instead of forced. There is strength being formed in you that does not need validation. Quiet strength. Grounded strength. The kind that remains when applause fades. As this shift continues to unfold, remember this truth. You are not late, lost, or lacking. You are positioned. Hold that knowing in your spirit. What comes next will not demand panic. It will require presence. Stay present. Stay aware. Stay open. Because the unfolding ahead is purposeful, and you are ready to walk it. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks with a steady firmness because this phase is about consistency, not intensity. Many people experience a shift and then lose momentum because they expect everything to change overnight. But heaven works through alignment sustained over time. What you are entering now requires faith that shows up daily, quietly, and faithfully. You may notice that temptations to return to old patterns will surface again. Not because you are failing, but because what is familiar tries one last time to reclaim space. Archangel Michael says this is a test of commitment, not character. You are not being asked to fight harder. You are being asked to choose wiser. There will be moments when the new path feels uneventful. No drama. No chaos. Just steady forward movement. Do not mistake peace for stagnation. Still waters move deeper than raging waves. This season is about depth, not noise. Archangel Michael is emphasizing discipline. Discipline is not punishment. It is devotion. It is choosing alignment even when no one is watching. The habits you form now will determine how far you can go without burning out. Pace matters. You are also being trained to hear God without constant reassurance. Signs will still come, but not every step will be announced. This is maturity. Trusting without needing constant confirmation builds spiritual muscle. There may be moments when you feel unnoticed or unseen. Remember this: roots grow in darkness. Visibility comes later. Do not uproot yourself prematurely by seeking affirmation too soon. Archangel Michael says protect your mornings and guard your nights. What you allow your mind to consume at the beginning and end of the day will shape your clarity. Choose wisely. Feed your spirit before feeding your worries. You are learning to say no without guilt. That is growth. Every no you speak to misalignment is a yes spoken to your future. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates. There is also an invitation here to reevaluate your commitments. Some obligations were made by an older version of you. It is okay to renegotiate with wisdom and honesty. God values integrity, not people-pleasing. Archangel Michael reminds you that obedience will sometimes feel lonely. Not everyone will understand your choices, but loneliness in obedience is temporary. Peace in alignment is lasting. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. Replace self-criticism with self-correction. Shame weakens direction. Grace strengthens it. Speak to yourself the way heaven speaks to you, with truth and patience. Now hear this clearly. If this message is helping you stay grounded and focused, take a moment to engage. Like this video so the message continues reaching those who are being prepared just like you. Share it with someone who needs encouragement to stay aligned. Leave a comment as an act of agreement. Your interaction is not small. It helps this word move further. And if you have not yet subscribed, this is the time to do it. Stay connected to this channel so these messages can continue guiding you through what is unfolding. Join this growing community and stand with others who are choosing alignment over delay. Your support strengthens this space. Archangel Michael says unity multiplies endurance. You may feel moments of doubt creep in, asking if you are really making progress. Progress is not always visible. Sometimes it is measured by what no longer drains you. Sometimes by what no longer controls you. That is progress. Be patient with yourself. Growth does not demand perfection. It invites persistence. There will be opportunities ahead that test your discernment. Not everything good is God-sent. Not everything urgent is important. Pause before committing. Pray before agreeing. Peace will confirm the right path. Archangel Michael is reminding you that spiritual strength is built through repetition. Daily choices. Daily alignment. Daily trust. Before you move on, stay present with this moment. What is coming next connects everything you have sensed but could not fully explain. Hold on. You will want to hear this part, because it brings clarity to the resistance you have been feeling. Stay steady. Stay open. The journey is unfolding exactly as it should. My beloved one, Archangel Michael now invites you into a deeper understanding of the resistance you have felt beneath the surface. This resistance was never a sign that you were moving in the wrong direction. In fact, it is evidence that you are moving closer to something significant. Opposition often intensifies when purpose becomes clearer. There is a spiritual law at work here. When alignment strengthens, anything misaligned becomes uncomfortable. That discomfort you felt was not meant to stop you. It was meant to refine your focus. You are learning to distinguish between inner warning and inner fear. Fear is loud and chaotic. True guidance is calm, even when it challenges you. Archangel Michael says this phase is teaching you spiritual endurance. Not the kind that survives crisis, but the kind that remains faithful during routine. Many people trust God in emergencies, but fewer trust Him in consistency. Yet consistency is where long-term destiny is built. You may notice that certain conversations no longer satisfy you. Small talk feels empty. Complaints feel heavy. You are craving meaning, substance, truth. This is not judgment. It is hunger for depth. Honor that hunger. Feed it with wisdom, prayer, and stillness. There is also a recalibration happening in how you see yourself. You are no longer viewing your past mistakes as proof of failure, but as evidence of growth. Shame is losing its grip. Responsibility remains, but condemnation is lifting. This is healing. Archangel Michael is showing that some of your greatest battles were internal, not external. You fought doubt, insecurity, and self-questioning quietly for years. Heaven saw those battles. Victories unseen by people are still victories recorded in the spiritual realm. And now, you are entering a phase where trust must replace control. Control kept you safe once. Trust will take you further. Letting go of control does not mean becoming careless. It means allowing God to lead without interference. There may be moments when you feel tempted to speed things up. Resist that urge. Premature movement can delay fulfillment. What unfolds naturally lasts longer than what is forced. Archangel Michael reminds you that silence is sometimes strategic. Not every insight needs to be shared. Not every plan needs validation. Some things are still forming. Protect them. You are also learning discernment in relationships. You will recognize who listens to understand and who listens to respond. Choose closeness wisely. Proximity is powerful. Who you allow near you influences how clearly you hear God. Do not be surprised if your circle becomes smaller but stronger. Depth will replace noise. There is also an invitation here to forgive yourself more fully. You have repented, learned, and changed. Yet part of you still revisits old guilt. Release it. Heaven has already moved on. Carrying forgiven guilt only slows you down. Archangel Michael says courage is being rebuilt in you. Not loud courage, but quiet resolve. The kind that shows up even when motivation fades. This courage is sustainable. You may notice increased sensitivity to dishonesty in yourself and others. This is integrity sharpening. You are becoming more aligned internally, and inconsistency will stand out more clearly. Do not ignore that awareness. At times, you may feel like you are waiting again. Understand this. Waiting does not always mean inactivity. Sometimes it means strengthening roots so growth can be supported later. Patience here is strategic. Archangel Michael assures you that nothing you have endured has been wasted. Even the detours added wisdom. Even the delays added discernment. Your story carries layers now, and layers add authority. You are being prepared not just to receive, but to steward. Blessings unmanaged become burdens. God is equipping you to handle what is coming with grace and responsibility. Stay attentive to how peace responds to your decisions. Peace will withdraw when something is off, and return when alignment is restored. Learn that language. You are no longer in a season of proving yourself. You are in a season of positioning yourself. That shift changes everything. As you continue forward, remember this truth. Clarity often comes after commitment, not before. Take the step you can see. The rest will follow. Remain faithful in the small movements. Heaven measures differently than people do. The unfolding ahead is intentional. You are not wandering. You are being led. Stay grounded. Stay listening. Because the next unveiling will show you how everything connects, and why this moment matters more than you realized. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks with a gentler tone, not because the message is less important, but because your spirit is ready to receive something deeper. What unfolds now is about understanding the weight of what you are carrying and what you were never meant to carry in the first place. You have been strong for a long time, strong for others, strong in silence, strong when no one noticed the cost. Archangel Michael says heaven has counted every unseen moment where you held yourself together while feeling like you were falling apart inside. That strength was necessary then, but it is not the requirement for where you are going next. This next shift is not asking you to be stronger. It is asking you to be surrendered. There is a difference. Strength says, I will handle this. Surrender says, I will trust God with this. And trust unlocks help that effort never could. Archangel Michael reveals that much of your fatigue did not come from action, but from resistance. You were fighting transitions, holding on to versions of life that were already expiring. Letting go now will feel like relief, not loss. What you release was weighing you down. You may notice that you are becoming more emotionally honest with yourself. You are no longer pretending certain things do not hurt. Dishonesty is not weakness, it is alignment. God cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. There is also restoration happening in your identity. You are remembering who you were before disappointment taught you to shrink. Confidence is returning, but this time it is quieter, humbler, and stronger. It is no longer rooted in validation. It is rooted in knowing. Archangel Michael says this is the season where self-respect replaces self-doubt. You will stop negotiating your worth. You will stop chasing clarity from people who benefit from your confusion. This shift also recalibrates your faith. You will stop expecting God to show up the way He did before, and you will start recognizing Him in new forms. Old methods will not always apply. New wine requires new understanding. You may feel called to simplify your life. Fewer commitments. Clear priorities. Less noise. This is not retreat. It is refinement. Simplicity sharpens focus. Archangel Michael is also addressing a hidden fear you carry, the fear of wasting time. Hear this clearly. Nothing you have lived through was wasted. Everything has been used to shape your discernment. Even the wrong turns taught you how to recognize the right ones. Tonight and the days following mark a release from self-blame. Responsibility remains, but shame is being lifted. Shame never came from God. Conviction guides. Shame paralyzes. You are stepping out of paralysis. You may sense a deeper hunger for meaning, purpose, and truth. Entertainment that once distracted you may no longer satisfy you. This is not boredom. It is awakening. Feed it wisely. Archangel Michael says the next level of your life requires inner quiet. Not silence from the world, but stillness within. From that stillness, clear direction will emerge. Some things will now move faster than expected. Other things will require patience. Trust both. Acceleration and waiting are both tools of preparation. Before moving forward, this moment requires agreement. Type "I am ready to release" in the comments if your spirit is aligning with this message. Blessing code 3186 has just been activated over your obedience. Now hear this carefully, because this invitation flows directly from what you have just received. If this message is reaching your heart, it is because God is using this channel to prepare, warn, and realign souls before critical moments. When you support this mission through super thanks, channel membership, or PayPal donation, you are not giving to a platform. You are fueling a river of revelation that reaches people right on time. I hear the Spirit say, "Those who pour into my work will never run dry." Your seed becomes light for someone standing in darkness. Your obedience becomes confirmation for someone who almost delayed. This message spoke of release. Supporting this mission is one way you release what is in your hand so God can place more into it. Do not hesitate when your spirit feels stirred. Obedience carries momentum. I bless every giver now. May clarity increase, peace settle, and divine provision follow you swiftly. What you release, God will multiply. Act with faith. The PayPal donation link is waiting in the description. Move now, and let heaven respond. My beloved one, Archangel Michael now turns your attention toward what begins to emerge after surrender takes root. When you release control, something unexpected happens. Clarity does not rush in loudly, but it settles gently, like light filling a room at dawn. This is the phase where understanding matures, and faith becomes steadier than emotion. You may notice that your prayers are changing. You are no longer asking God to fix everything immediately. Instead, you are asking for wisdom, alignment, and discernment. That shift in prayer language is evidence of growth. Heaven responds powerfully to prayers that flow from trust rather than desperation. Archangel Michael says this season is teaching you how to wait without anxiety. Waiting no longer feels like punishment. It feels purposeful. You are learning that God's silence is not absence. It is often instruction in disguise. Stillness sharpened perception. There is also an inner strengthening happening now. You are becoming less shaken by uncertainty. Where unknown outcomes once frightened you, they now invite curiosity. This does not mean fear is gone completely, but it no longer governs your decisions. Courage is beginning to lead. Pay attention to how your reactions have changed. Situations that once triggered emotional spirals now pass with minimal disturbance. That is healing. Peace is not the absence of challenges, it is the presence of grounding. Archangel Michael is revealing that some doors will soon require decisive action. Hesitation will feel heavier than movement. You will know when the time comes because peace will accompany boldness. Fear shouts. Peace confirms. You are also stepping into a deeper awareness of God's presence in ordinary moments. Not just during prayer, but during routine tasks, conversations, and quiet thoughts. Faith is integrating into daily life, not existing only in spiritual spaces. This integration creates stability. There may be moments when you look back and realize how far you have come without noticing. Growth often feels slow when you are living it, but clarity arrives in reflection. Give yourself grace. Transformation is rarely dramatic from the inside. Archangel Michael says, do not underestimate the power of consistency in this phase. Small, faithful choices are building something far larger than you realize. Heaven honors steady obedience more than occasional intensity. You may also feel an increased sensitivity to alignment. When something is off, you will sense it quickly. Do not ignore that awareness. Discernment is a gift meant to be used, not questioned away. There is also a call here to deepen trust in yourself, not self-reliance, but self-awareness. You are learning to recognize when something resonates with truth and when it does not. This discernment comes from walking closely with God. Archangel Michael reminds you that not every opportunity is an assignment. Some opportunities are distractions wearing attractive disguises. Choose what strengthens your peace, not what feeds your ego. As you continue, you may feel moments of vulnerability surface again. This does not mean you are regressing. Vulnerability often appears when deeper healing is occurring. Allow it. God meets you there. There is also restoration happening in how you view your future. Where you once anticipated disappointment, you are now open to possibility. Hope is returning, quietly but steadily. Hope anchored in God is resilient. Archangel Michael is emphasizing patience with process. Do not rush closure. Do not force answers. Some understanding comes only after obedience has been practiced for a season. Trust the unfolding. You are also being trained to recognize God's voice more clearly. It will not always sound dramatic. Often it will feel like a calm knowing, a steady nudge, a gentle correction. Learn that language. Do not be surprised if your priorities shift again. Growth is layered. What mattered yesterday may no longer hold the same weight tomorrow. This is refinement, not instability. Archangel Michael says this phase is preparing you for responsibility, not just blessing. Responsibility requires clarity, humility, and steadiness, all of which are being developed now. There may be moments when you feel alone in your understanding. It is okay. Not everyone is meant to walk the same pace. Trust God's timing for connection. The right people arrive when alignment is ready. You are no longer chasing certainty. You are learning to walk with trust. That transition changes how you experience life. As this message settles, hold on to this truth. Nothing unfolding now is random. Every shift, pause, and nudge is intentional. Stay faithful in the quiet days. They are building strength you will need soon. Because what comes next will require confidence, not the loud kind, but the grounded kind that comes from walking closely with God. Remain open. Remain steady. The path ahead is forming clearly, step by step. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks with clarity and resolve, because this stage is about readiness. Not emotional readiness, but spiritual preparedness. You have been strengthened, refined, surrendered, and steadied for a reason. What approaches next will require presence of mind, grounded faith, and active participation. This is where many people misunderstand divine shifts. They expect everything to happen to them, but God often moves with those who are attentive. Grace opens doors, but wisdom teaches you how to walk through them without stumbling. You are entering that collaborative phase. You may notice an increase in responsibility, even before the visible reward appears. That is not unfairness. That is trust. Heaven entrusts before it promotes. What you steward now determines what you receive later. Pay attention to the small responsibilities placed in your hands. They are training grounds. Archangel Michael says you are now being asked to move with intention. Drifting is no longer safe. Not because danger surrounds you, but because purpose requires direction. Casual faith carried you through survival. Intentional faith will carry you into fulfillment. You may feel moments of pressure, not panic, but weight. That weight is significance. Important things carry weight. Do not mislabel it as stress. Ask for wisdom instead of escape. Strength grows under correct weight. There is also an adjustment happening in how you handle time. You will become more aware of what weighs it and what multiplies it. Distractions will feel heavier. Focus will feel lighter. This is alignment sharpening your priorities. Archangel Michael reminds you that discernment must now be applied quickly. Lingering too long in indecision can cause mistiming. You will not have all the details, but you will have enough peace to move forward. Trust that. You may also feel a renewed sense of urgency about certain things you kept postponing. That urgency is not anxiety. It is awareness. When clarity increases, delay becomes uncomfortable. Listen to the discomfort. There will be moments when others question your pace or your choices. Not everyone will understand why you move when you move. Explanation is not always required. Obedience does not need consensus. Archangel Michael is also revealing that confidence will be tested soon. Not by failure, but by opportunity. Opportunity tests belief just as much as adversity does. When doors open, do not shrink. Step forward humbly but fully. You are also learning to trust what God has already placed inside you. Wisdom grows through use. Do not wait until you feel perfectly ready. Readiness often comes after movement begins. There may be moments when you are tempted to look back for reassurance. Resist that. Looking back too often blurs forward vision. Gratitude for the past is healthy. Attachment to it is not. And now hear this carefully, because engagement matters in this season. If this message is helping you stay aligned and focused, take a moment to like this video so it continues reaching those who are also being prepared. Share it with someone who needs confirmation right now. Leave a comment as a declaration of agreement. Your interaction is not just digital. It helps this message travel where it is needed most. And if you have not yet subscribed, this is the moment to do it. Stay connected to this channel, join this growing community, and walk alongside others who are choosing obedience over delay. Support this space so these messages can continue flowing. Archangel Michael says when the chosen stay connected, clarity multiplies. And now, hold this thought, because what unfolds next will explain why certain doors are opening while others remain closed. Trust me, you will want to hear this, because it ties everything together in a way you may not expect. Stay present. As you continue forward, remember this truth. God does not rush you, but He does not want you distracted. Attention is currency in this season. Where you place it determines what grows. You are stepping into a phase where follow-through matters more than intention. Good intentions without action no longer satisfy your spirit. Movement brings peace now. Archangel Michael also reminds you to guard against comparison. Others' progress is not your timeline. Your pace does not define your success. Stay in your lane. Your assignment is specific. There is a quiet confidence forming in you. Not loud, not arrogant. Steady. This confidence will carry you through moments where motivation fades. It is rooted in knowing, not feeling. As this part settles, anchor yourself in this understanding. You are not being rushed into something unprepared. You are being called forward because preparation has already happened. Stay grounded. Stay focused. Because the final movements ahead will reveal why this warning was released when it was, and why delay truly would have cost too much. My beloved one, Archangel Michael now asks you to slow your breathing and steady your heart, because this phase is about internal confirmation. What you have been sensing, learning, and preparing for is beginning to lock into place. This is the stage where doubt tries to make a final appearance, not because you are weak, but because you are close. When something important is about to finalize, uncertainty often tries to speak louder. Archangel Michael says, do not misinterpret this as a sign to stop. Doubt often surfaces when old identities realize they no longer have authority. What once questioned you is losing ground. You may notice a strange combination of emotions during this phase. On one hand, a deep calm. On the other, a quiet nervousness about stepping fully into what is next. This is normal. Transition always carries a mixture of peace and gravity. You are not just moving into something new. You are leaving something familiar behind for good. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that final alignment does not come with fireworks. It comes with resolve. A settled decision in the spirit that says, even if it is uncomfortable, I will not go back. That resolve is forming now. You are also becoming more aware of your influence. Not in a boastful way, but in a responsible one. Your words matter. Your reactions matter. Your choices ripple outward more than you realize. This awareness is not meant to burden you. It is meant to refine you. There may be moments when you are tempted to downplay your growth, to make others comfortable, or to avoid standing out. Resist that temptation. Humility does not require hiding. It requires honesty. You can be grounded without being small. Archangel Michael is also addressing a lingering question in your heart. What if I fail? Hear this clearly. Failure is not the threat. Staying stuck is. Growth always carries risk, but stagnation carries regret. God redeems misstep, but He does not bless disobedience disguised as caution. This phase will require you to trust what God has already shown you, even if external confirmation is delayed. Not everything will be validated immediately. Some things are validated by fruit over time. Be patient. You may also feel a stronger pull toward solitude or quiet reflection. This is not withdrawal. It is integration. Your spirit is organizing what it has received. Give yourself permission to be still without feeling unproductive. Archangel Michael says you are learning to stand without leaning. This does not mean independence from God. It means dependence without desperation. Your faith is stabilizing. There will be subtle tests of integrity in this phase. Small choices, quiet decisions, moments where shortcuts appear attractive. Remember who you are becoming. Long-term alignment is worth more than short-term comfort. You may also notice that your tolerance for compromise has decreased sharply. This is not rigidity, it is clarity. When you know what matters, you stop negotiating with what undermines it. Archangel Michael reminds you that you do not need to convince anyone of what God is doing in your life. Explanation often drains energy meant for execution. Let consistency speak. Let results speak. Let peace speak. There is also a closing happening now. Certain emotional loops are ending. Certain questions no longer hold power. You are not obsessing over outcomes the way you once did. Trust is replacing control. You may feel moments of grief for what could have been. Allow that grief. It honors your humanity. But do not live there. What is coming requires forward vision. Archangel Michael is showing me a door that does not swing both ways. Once you walk through, return will not be an auction, not because it is forbidden, but because you will no longer want to. Growth changes desire. You are also learning that faith is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is simply continuing when excitement fades. Going up when no one is watching. Remaining aligned when applause is absent. This phase builds spiritual stamina, the kind that lasts. You may not feel ready in every way. That is okay. Readiness is not the absence of fear, it is the presence of trust. And trust is present now. As this part settles, hold on to this truth. You have not misunderstood the timing. You have not imagined the calling. You have not exaggerated the urgency. Heaven does not warn without intention. What remains now is follow-through. Stay anchored. Stay honest. Stay obedient. Because what comes next is not another preparation. It is completion. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now stands with quiet authority, because this is the moment of completion. Not an ending filled with noise, but a ceiling filled with truth. Everything you have felt building within you has led here. This is where understanding settles and decision becomes permanent. You were warned because you were trusted. You were prepared because you were chosen. And now, you are being released into what was forming long before you recognized it. Archangel Michael says the shift that began quietly is now locking into place. The inner resistance has weakened. The confusion has lost its voice. What remains is clarity paired with responsibility. You are no longer asking if this path is real. You are deciding whether you will fully walk it. Tonight did not just mark a change in circumstances. It marked a change in authority. You are no longer operating from survival, reaction, or fear of loss. You are stepping into stewardship. Stewardship of your time. Stewardship of your choices. Stewardship of the truth you now carry. There is no turning back to who you were, not because you are forbidden, but because you have outgrown that version completely. Old patterns no longer fit. Old excuses no longer satisfy. Old delays no longer feel harmless. You can feel the weight of consequence now, not as fear, but as awareness. Archangel Michael is reminding you that awareness is a gift. It keeps you from repeating cycles that once drained you. It helps you recognize misalignment quickly. It sharpens your discernment so you do not confuse comfort with calling. You may notice after this message that silence follows. Not emptiness, but stillness. That stillness is integration. Heaven has spoken, and now your spirit absorbs. Do not expect immediate fireworks. Expect steady confirmation. Expect peace to replace urgency. Expect confidence to replace hesitation. These are signs the shift has fully landed. Some doors will now close without explanation. Let them. They serve their purpose. Some doors will open that you did not knock on. Walk through them with humility and courage. Archangel Michael says this is the season where obedience protects you more than caution ever did. You will recognize when to move and when to pause without overthinking. Trust that. You are no longer waiting for permission. You are moving with alignment. Remember this truth as you go forward. Delay was dangerous because it kept you circling what was already decided. Decision brings rest. Even when the path stretches you, decision removes inner conflict. You will not do everything perfectly. That was never required. What is required is honesty, responsiveness, and faithfulness. Heaven supplies the rest. Archangel Michael places this final reminder in your spirit. Do not minimize what God has entrusted to you. The clarity you carry is meant to be lived, not just admired. Walk it out quietly, consistently, boldly. This message has now done what it was sent to do. Type "I walk in alignment" in the comments if you receive this sealing word. Lesson code 6041 is now activated over your obedience. This warning, this preparation, this alignment did not come just for you. It came because countless souls are standing where you once stood, confused, delayed, uncertain, and God is using this channel to reach them before cost replaces clarity. I hear the Spirit saying, those who help carry this word will share in its reward. As you sow through super thanks, channel membership, or PayPal donation, you are not funding content, you are fueling obedience across the earth. Your seed becomes a voice for the unheard, a warning for the distracted, and light for those standing at the edge of delay. Scripture declares that those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed, pressed down and overflowing. This final sealing spoke of stewardship. Supporting this mission is stewardship in action. Do not hesitate. Obey the nudge while it is warm in your spirit. I release blessing over every giver now. May provision increase, clarity deepen, and peace guard every step you take. Act now. The PayPal donation link is in the description. Move in faith, and let heaven respond.